Hello friends, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, the first Prime Minister of the country. Today, world leaders across the globe respect him. But if there's somewhere he is disrespected, somewhere he is insulted, it is in his country. Recently, the Singaporean Prime Minister praised him in his speech. The leaders who fought for and won independence are often exceptional individuals of great courage, immense culture, and outstanding ability. They came through the crucible of fire and emerged as leaders of men and nations. They are the David Ben-Gurions, the Jawaharlal Nehrus. On the other hand, in India, fake news about him is often circulated. Often he is blamed for present problems. And sometimes his photos with women are circulated to show that Nehru was a characterless man, to depict him as a person that went around doing depraved stuff with women. What's the truth behind it? Come, let's find out in today's video. In the year 1955, Nehru flew to London. When his plane landed in London and he came down the stairs of the plane, his sister Vijaya Lakshmi Pandit was there to receive him. She was happy to see him. Nehru got down and went to her. At this point in time, if I had a time machine, I would have traveled back in time and would have asked him not to hug her. Even though I know she's his sister, their hug led to many problems. Nehru would then ask me what my problem is. Why can't he hug his sister? They hadn't seen each other for quite a while, and they were very happy to see each other. Why should it cause any problems? I'd tell Nehru that photographer Homai Vairawala would click his photo then of him hugging his sister. But 70 years later, that photo would be misused to defame him. Some members of the WhatsApp University and IT cell would circulate his photo to show that he was hugging a woman, and they'd question the relation between the two. Nehru would think that everyone would know that she's his sister. He'd wonder why people wouldn't just use their brains. I'd reply by saying that, though people can use their brains, but it is the era of the internet. With the invention of the internet a few years later, things like Twitter and WhatsApp would be formed. Things that work by distracting people. People don't have the time to use their brains. Most of the people would believe the lie circulated on WhatsApp. Confused Nehru would ask why anyone would want to defame him. He hasn't done anyone wrong. I'd try to explain the current situation to him. I'd tell him that 70 years later, the unemployment would rise so much in the country that people would circulate these fake messages for even pennies. They'd spread fake news and hatred in the country. And some political parties would use him to shift the blame of their mistakes on him. It would become very important for them to defame Nehru to protect their ego. Anyhow, Nehru was elated to meet his sister. So even though I traveled back in time, I couldn't prevent the hug. If I were to tell you about Vijaya Lakshmi Pandit, she was an active worker of the Indian nationalist movement. She went to jail thrice, in 1932, 1940, and 1942, for her participation in the civil disobedience movement against the Britishers. In 1946, she was a member of the Constituent Assembly from the United Provinces. And when our country got independence in 1947, she chose a diplomatic career. She became the Indian representative to many countries. The Soviet Union, the USA, Mexico, the UK, Spain. In 1953, she became the first woman in the world to be elected the President of the United Nations General Assembly. She had even headed the 8th session of the United Nations General Assembly. In 1955, when Pandit Nehru went to London, she was the Indian High Commissioner in the United Kingdom. She went to the airport to receive Pandit Nehru with her daughter Nayantara. And you can see this video, the actual source of these photos. At the same time, another infamous photo was clicked. That is circulated to defame Nehru, one where Nayantara kisses Nehru. Nayantara was Pandit Nehru's niece. There's nothing wrong with their conduct. This kiss and the display of affection is the same as between a mother and son or a father and daughter. Moving on to the next photos, it is also interesting to see the stories behind each of them. In the video on partition, I had told you that Louis Mountbatten was appointed the Viceroy of India in March 1947. He came to India with his wife, Edwina Mountbatten, and his 17-year-old daughter Pamela. It was a time when long discussions were underway on what should India's independence look like, the specific laws and rules that were needed to be made and imposed. There were extensive discussions between the Indians and Britishers. During these times, Pandit Nehru became good friends with Edwina Mountbatten, perhaps closer than just friends. In the words of Edwina's daughter Pamela, Edwina and Nehru shared a profound relationship. Pamela had read and examined several letters sent between Nehru and Edwina, and published a book on them some years later. Pamela noted that she, Edwina, found in Panditji the companionship and equality of spirit and intellect that she craved. In the same book, Pamela goes on to clarify that there was never a physical affair between Nehru and Edwina. All the rumors spread regarding this are fabricated. Edwina and Nehru were really good friends to each other. In one of the photos, you can see Pamela standing with Pandit Nehru, and her parents, Louis and Edwina, are standing behind them in the background, bidding goodbye to Pandit Nehru. In another photograph, Nehru and Edwina are laughing together at some joke. Nothing unusual with that. You laugh with your friends at jokes too. The only difference was that someone clicked a photo at the time. After these comes a photo where Pandit Nehru is seen smoking a cigarette. We know that smoking is very injurious to one's health. It's a bad habit. Smoking cigarettes is a bad habit, but that can't be used to judge the character of a person. I talked about this in the video on Swami Vivekananda too. Did you know that the Nazis had launched an anti-smoking campaign? In 1919, Hitler quit smoking. Mussolini and Franco were non-smokers too. Does this mean that they were good people? Absolutely not. The way that Hitler cannot be labeled a good person simply because he was a non-smoker in the same way Albert Einstein, Sigmund Freud, Jawaharlal Nehru cannot be labeled as bad people simply because they smoked. In fact, this list also includes Netaji Subhas Chandra Bose and Che Guevara too. They were smokers too. The second point here is that today in 2022, we know that smoking cigarettes is extremely injurious to our health. It's absolutely terrible. It is criticized in media, in films, by the government, everywhere. It is not promoted. But in Nehru's time, in the 1950s, it was a time when many campaigns were launched by the cigarette companies to promote smoking. At the time, in the media and in people's perception, smoking didn't have as bad an image as it has today. Many people didn't even know that smoking is a bad habit, that it's injurious to health. In fact, it was in 1964 that the Surgeon General of the US, Luther Terry, made a bold announcement and published a definite report that smoking causes lung cancer. Even after that, it took 20-30 years. It was only around the 1990s that the government started taking actions to launch anti-smoking campaigns. We come to our next photo. Let's see the story behind it. Ammu Swaminathan was a freedom fighter. In 1942, she was jailed because she had participated in the Quit India movement. In 1946, she became a part of the Constituent Assembly from Madras. And in 1952, she was elected to the Lok Sabha. Obviously, she was acquainted with Pandit Nehru. In the Azad Hind Fauj of Netaji Bose, her daughter Lakshmi had led the Rani Jhansi regiment. Ammu's younger daughter, Mrinalini Sarabhai, became a reputed classical dancer. The woman you see in this photo is Mrinalini. She was of a similar age to Indira Gandhi. She recalls that in 1927, Pandit Nehru visited Chennai and had dined with her family. After that, he went to Shantiniketan to inaugurate a new Hindi Bhawan hall. There, Mrinalini and Indira were sitting together in the frame of an artistic window. An interesting fact, Mrinalini's husband was Vikram Sarabhai, the famous physicist known as the father of India's space program today. Interestingly, Pandit Nehru was close to the Sarabhai family too. They were a rich merchant family and were involved in the freedom movement. Vikram's sister, Leelaben, recalls that the entire Nehru family would visit their home in the retreat in Ahmedabad and would stay for a few days. I'm giving you this background context because Pandit Nehru knew Mrinalini from both sides of her family. Mrinalini used to invite him to her dance recitals. She was a culture enthusiast too. In 2009, Mrinalini talked to Live Mint on the phone and told them about this photograph. She said that in 1948, she was performing in a dance drama called Manushya, Person. She says that at the time, Kathakali wasn't widely approved of. Not many people appreciated it, but Pandit Nehru went to watch her perform and later hugged her and congratulated her. This photo was clicked at that moment. Once again, this isn't some random woman. She's a family friend of Nehru, and Nehru had gone to attend her dance performance, congratulated her, and complimented her. Nothing unusual. And finally, there's this photo in which you can see Jacqueline Kennedy, the then First Lady of the USA, the wife of former President John F. Kennedy. She visited India between March 12th to March 21st in the year 1962. This was a goodwill tour. She was accompanied by her sister Lee Radziwill, the US Ambassador John Kenneth Galbraith, and Indira Gandhi to visit many places. Taj Mahal, Udaipur, Jaipur, etc. This particular photo here, Pandit Nehru is actually giving her a ceremonious welcome as a part of Indian culture. By placing a tilak on her forehead, he's putting a tilak on her. Can you imagine misusing this photo to show that Pandit Nehru had a depraved relationship with a woman? Overall, if you see these 9 photos together, there was nothing wrong or secretive in them. Each of these photos was clicked at some major public event. But it is very clear that someone complied these photos to intentionally defame Pandit Nehru. This lie was circulated to show that Pandit Nehru was a characterless man, a womanizer. You can see such things on WhatsApp now. Obviously, like everyone else, Pandit Nehru was also a human. He did good work, he made mistakes. We'll talk about those in some other video. But for now, I'd like to tell you that Pandit Nehru has actually been praised by many people. In Kirti magazine, Bhagat Singh had said that Pandit Nehru is a leader who should be followed by the youth. In his Azad Hind Fauj, Netaji Bose had named one of the brigades after Nehru, the Nehru Brigade. Former Prime Minister Lal Bahadur Shastri had said that Albert Einstein had written about Pandit Nehru. He had said that Nehru's book, The Discovery of India, was extremely interesting and marvelous. Sardar Patel, a person who is often poised against Nehru, to claim that Sardar Patel should have been the Prime Minister instead of Nehru. Again, another lie that's being circulated, that had Sardar Patel being the Prime Minister instead of Nehru, our country would have progressed much more. But what's the truth then? See for yourself in this video. When was the first election held in India? I don't know that. 1952. And when did Sardar Patel die? When? Before 1952. So how could Patel have been the Prime Minister? It's not that Sardar Patel and Nehru didn't have any disagreements. There were some, but they weren't enemies. They respected each other. Jawaharlal and I have been fellow members of the Congress, soldiers in the struggle for freedom. Our mutual affection has increased as years have advanced. And now, when we are apart and can't take counsel of the other on our matters, how much we miss each other then, it is beyond people's imagination. Think about it. Sardar Patel was writing about how much he missed Pandit Nehru, how much they admired each other. You don't need to be a Congress supporter to admire Pandit Nehru. You simply need to have respect for India's freedom struggle and have some factual knowledge of Pandit Nehru's contribution as a Prime Minister towards our country. If you understand this tiny thing, you will realize that despite being a BJP politician, you can praise Pandit Nehru, like how Nitin Gadkari had praised Pandit Nehru some time ago. Even our former Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee remembered Nehru and praised him. But unfortunately, some politicians are so egoistic today, so jealous of Pandit Nehru, I have no words for them. They try to blame Pandit Nehru for everything. They try to defame him. False WhatsApp forwards and fake news is circulated to dishonor him. All we can do is that the next time you read these things about Nehru in some WhatsApp message, forward the link to this video in that WhatsApp group or to the sender so that people can see the truth. If you like this video, watch the ones on the partition. I made a video series on partition of 2 parts. In them, I had explained the prevailing situation in detail and the contribution of the leaders then. Thank you very much.